Let's go to Flint, Michigan for a bit. The water crisis continues. Now, the reason this thing started is that Flint, Michigan has a law basically that says you can put a special administrator in charge of any city that's having financial difficulties. So this person basically becomes a czar. He basically or she replaces all elected officials. But everything in government.
Everything's czar.
Yeah. So the mayor has no say. The council has no say. The only person that has say is this special state. And they've taken over in Flint, Benton Harbor, Detroit. They've taken over all these cities to try and get them back financially. Well, they wanted to save $5 million from buying. They buy their lake water in Flint from Detroit. It comes out of a lake, and they changed it to suddenly let's take the money out of the Flint River. Well, the problem is that there's a lot of corrosive lead in river water that doesn't exist in lake water. And for 21 months, the children of Flint, Michigan were poisoned with lead. And lead poisoning causes cognitive and developmental issues. You can't drink the water. You shouldn't bathe in the water. And the state knew about it. They put bottled water in for everybody working in the state offices while still saying everything's fine in the city.
So the office workers have bottled water. Everybody else have to drink river water.
Exactly. So the state officials, they eventually switched back, but the damage was done. And because there was so much corrosive lead, it also damaged all of the pipes in Flint. So this $5 million savings is now turned into $400 million needed to replace the pipes. And people are still getting water deliveries. And this guy, who's the governor, Snyder, is basically trying to save himself, and the jury's out as to whether he will be successful at that. He's asked lawmakers for $195 million in aid, but it has been described as a genocide because Flint is largely African American and very, very poor people who could not stand up for each other. But
to me, something like this really needs more publicity. I mean, this is a classic example where, for example, you should have Freedom of Information Acts fully functioning, investigative journalism. I mean, this should be on the front page of every newspaper.
I agree.
And every TV station should have it in their running order right at the top.
Well, fair play to Rachel Maddow. Her show really began to adopt this and started to really push it, and then national news pushed it, and now it is getting the attention that's needed, and people are starting to pay attention. For the longest time, 20-something months, nobody paid any attention to it. So we'll see where it goes.